Is kombucha safe for pregnancy? In today's video, I'm sharing what the research shows us about the safety of this trending beverage so that you can make an informed decision. And in case you're joining in for the very first time, I'm Marie Burwald, and I've spent the last 20 years studying best practices when it comes to pregnancy and birth and postpartum. And as a holistic health coach, I've worked with thousands of women to enhance their experience of pregnancy. And on this channel, we have already gone over a bunch of ways to create a healthier and happier pregnancy, including the common mistakes that lead to back pain during pregnancy, how to reduce morning sickness, how to start feeling so exhausted all the time, and even strategies to manage the emotional ups and downs. And today, I promise to empower you with evidence-based information about kombucha and pregnancy. So let's get into it. First, we are starting with the health benefits. We'll look at the safety concerns next, and then how to determine the risk ratio to benefit ratio. And finally, if you decide to go ahead with this practice, I'll show you how to minimize any risks. And I don't know about you, but I get so sick and tired of all the fear mongering around pregnancy. Now, don't get me wrong, safety is hugely important. After all, there's another person's life in your hands. But when you Google, is kombucha safe? The vast majority of websites will say, best to avoid it in pregnancy, just in case. In case of what? In case my baby grows an extra head, extra finger, in case it changes something, the amniotic fluid, what? What? Can we please have some better information? And the undercurrent is this paternalistic, you're not smart enough, just trust the experts attitude that happens so often in pregnancy. And you end up with this laundry list of things you can't do, which the different experts disagree on anyways, with very little explanation about why. Why can't you do those things? Why can't you eat those foods? And I believe that you are smart and that you care a lot about your baby and your health. And I want to give you resources and evidence so that you can make an educated decision. I spent the last 3 weeks digging into this, researching this topic, and I'm bringing you all that research straight to your fingertips. And spoiler, at the end, some of you might decide that yes, kombucha is safe and I'm drinking it, and others might decide to opt out. And that is perfectly okay, because you'll have made the decision from an educated place. Cool? Okay, let's hit it. So why would you want to drink this stuff anyways? What are the health benefits? Over the last few years, kombucha, which is a fermented tea beverage, has been steadily gaining in popularity, due in part to its numerous health benefits. And the popularity is relatively new here, but the drink is really ancient, with records about this drink dating back over 2,000 years. In ancient China, kombucha was known as the tea of immortality and the elixir of life. It was used in traditional Chinese medicine for cleansing and energizing. Over time, it spread to other areas of Asia, Mongolia, Russia, and Eastern Europe. And the emerging research on this drink indicates that there are 4 primary health benefits. So let's take a look. Number 1, probiotics and gut health. Kombucha contains probiotics, aka beneficial bacteria that can improve gut health by balancing the gut microbiome. When your gut microbiome is healthy and robust, that leads to improved digestion, better immunity, and more emotional balance. Since a bunch of our happy hormones are produced in the gut with the help of the microbiome. Plus, the microbiome is crucially important to your baby's health. And if you want to go down that rabbit hole with me, check out this video next. Number 2, antioxidants. Kombucha is made from a base of black tea, which is then fermented. The tea plant, also known as Camellia sinensis, I had to practice that. That gives us black tea, green tea, oolong tea, white tea. It's all the same plant, just how you prepare the leaves. The plant is already rich in antioxidants, and the fermentation process increases the level of those antioxidants. And why does that even matter? Because antioxidants help combat oxidative stress and reduce inflammation in the body by protecting our cells from the damage caused by free radicals. In a nutshell, it slows down the aging process. Plus, reducing inflammation is key in reducing aches, pains, and soreness. And that is relevant for pregnancy, because I am sure you felt some soreness. Number 3, liver support. During pregnancy, your liver works overtime. Baby's liver doesn't actually start functioning until birth, so your liver is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for both of you. Kombucha contains glucuronic acid. Now this is helpful because glucuronic acid can bind to toxins in the body and assist in their elimination through urine. The internal cleansing effect supports the liver, and that's really helpful in pregnancy. Now, of course, when we start talking about having the most healthy and radiant pregnancy possible, part of that is starting your day from a motivated, empowered place. If pregnancy sometimes feels hard, then I have a little surprise for those of you who are new to my channel. I've created a personalized morning self-care ritual that you can get absolutely free by going to the link under this video. You'll get it immediately directly to your mailbox. It's a simple yet powerful 5-minute practice so that you can start off your day feeling calm and energized. And I've also thrown in 10 ways to connect with your baby prenatally so you can really deepen that bond. And I'm sure you're gonna love it, so remember to check that out after the video. Okay, let's talk about benefit number 4, blood sugar regulation. This is a big component of healthy pregnancy. We need stable blood sugar levels, but that's harder to achieve during pregnancy because of the increased blood volume, your food choices, plus the hormonal changes which make your individual cells less receptive and responsive to insulin. All of this means that your pancreas has to go into overdrive, and sometimes it just can't keep up with the demand for insulin, and that results in gestational diabetes. Now, there is no data about kombucha and gestational diabetes. However, there is some human trials with regular diabetes and kombucha, and the preliminary evidence suggests that it can improve blood sugar control. And why is that? Well, it's believed that acetic acid in kombucha may slow down carbohydrate digestion and absorption, which results in better blood sugar. And that's pretty good for pregnancy. Okay. Those are the 4 main benefits. But before you go and get all excited, there are some risks. And if you have heard that you should avoid kombucha in pregnancy, these risks are why. Number 1, alcohol content. Is there alcohol in kombucha? Yes, but it's a teeny tiny amount. How small? Less than 0.5%. To put that into perspective, that is the same as any non-alcoholic beer, which typically has 0.5 as well. So if you are comfortable with drinking non-alcoholic beer or non-alcoholic wine, then it's the same. Now, there is a caveat here. unless you're drinking kombucha that you have prepared personally at home, like this one here. Commercially available kombucha is regulated, so it must contain less than 0.5% alcohol to be classified as a non-alcoholic beverage. However, home-brewed kombucha can sometimes have higher alcohol content due to variations in the fermentation process, and it could be as high as 2%. Risk number 2, caffeine. Yes, there is caffeine in kombucha because it's made from black tea, which contains caffeine. But there's more to the story than this. The SCOBY eats the sugar and the caffeine, so there is very little in the finished product. Wait, what's a SCOBY? In case you are new to the world of kombucha, a SCOBY stands for Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast. It's this gelatinous pancake-like mass that contains living bacteria and yeast cultures needed to ferment the sweetened tea into kombucha. The SCOBY ferments the sugars in the tea, and that produces all those beneficial compounds like the organic acids, the vitamins, the antioxidants, the probiotics, along with that small amount of alcohol that we talked about and a little bit of carbonation. So it's similar to a sourdough starter, which is also a mix of beneficial bacteria and yeast that work together to transform the ingredients. In sourdough, the starter ferments the dough, contributing to its rise and flavor. In kombucha, the SCOBY ferments the sweetened tea, producing the tangy, effervescent beverage that we're familiar with. Both require careful maintenance and regular feeding to stay healthy and alive. And both can be used to start new batches of their respective products. And so, now you know. So in order to live, the SCOBY feeds on the sugar and the caffeine in the tea, so that by the time the kombucha is finished, there isn't much sugar or caffeine left. Again, to put this into perspective, the caffeine content in beverages can vary, but generally, 1 cup of coffee, which is about 8 ounces, contains 95 milligrams of caffeine. Although this can range from 70 to 140 milligrams depending on the type of coffee and how strong you're brewing it. 1 cup of commercially produced kombucha typically contains between 8 and 15 milligrams of caffeine. Compare that to your average cup of hot chocolate, which also has about 15 milligrams. Has anyone told you you can't have hot chocolate anymore? This is the part that drives me nuts. Some of the rules make no sense. And why are we still freaked out about caffeine in pregnancy? There is a significant amount of research on this one. And we know that there are no adverse effects if you stick to 2 cups or 200 milligrams of caffeine per day during pregnancy. So to hit that max amount of caffeine, you would need to be drinking more than 13 cups of kombucha daily. Seems unlikely. Alrighty, on to the third and final risk, Listeria contamination. Okay, this one can be a real concern. So what is Listeria? What's the risk in pregnancy? How common is it in kombucha? Let's get into it all. Listeria is a food-borne illness. It's caused by a bacteria. And it's actually super serious and very dangerous during pregnancy. That's because it's one of the few things that can cross the placenta and infect baby, potentially leading to really severe health complications. Now, happily, Listeria is also very rare, and there haven't been any significant Listeria outbreaks linked to kombucha. Now, the unpasteurized nature of kombucha does make it a possible risk. However, when we are looking at the most common outbreaks of Listeria, they are linked to salad and chicken. And when we talk about the statistical risk, you are statistically more likely to get sick from contaminated lettuce than a bottle of commercially produced kombucha. And I'm guessing you haven't stopped eating lettuce. The thing about Listeria is that it's both dangerous, rare, and hard to avoid, meaning that it's unclear how much your actions to avoid any foods will affect your risk of getting it. Listeria outbreaks and infections can seem pretty random. They've been linked to things like salad, bean sprouts, unpasteurized dairy, cantaloupe, ice cream, hot dogs. So avoiding specific foods like kombucha statistically doesn't make a big difference in lowering your risk. And this is where we arrive at that risk-benefit ratio. So now that you understand all the risks and all the benefits, you need to weigh them against each other. And that is a good practice to get into because everything has both benefits and risks. And learning to compare the two so that you can make informed choices about your own health is a really good skill to develop. And this is where it's helpful to collaborate with your healthcare provider. A good healthcare provider, that's your doc or your midwife, can help you evaluate those risks and benefits in relation to your unique body and health situation. Now, the follow-up question is, can we minimize any of these risks? With kombucha, definitely. When you make it at home, which my family does all the time, there are more variations in the amount of caffeine and alcohol. Some of our batchers are just stronger than others. Plus, it's not made in a sterile commercial kitchen. It's made in my kitchen, right here. Now, one could argue that most of my kitchen germs I've already been exposed to, but that's another discussion. If you choose a commercially made kombucha, there will be cleanliness and sterilization standards, plus standardized tiny amounts of the caffeine and alcohol. As for reducing the Listeria risk, this one is trickier. It's very hard to predict where Listeria might strike, and it's difficult to avoid it by avoiding certain foods. I know for myself, I take comfort in the knowledge that there haven't been any outbreaks of Listeria linked to commercially produced kombucha to date. For some of you, that might be enough, and for others, not quite. I would love to know what you decide. Let us know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this type of educational content, subscribe, and I invite you to join me in the next video where I will break down the ins and outs of water birth and water immersion during labor, all based on research. So see you there.